In the beginning of this part, we see Zhang Xiaofan in the palace of Qingyunmen Kingdom, where the leader of Dragon Sect tells him that his weapon is demonic weapon which is made out of blood purification method. But Zhang Xiaofan denies this. Still, the master of Dragon Sect doesn't accept this and tells the king to kill Zhang Xiaofan as he thinks Zhang Xiaofan is a detective of demons. The leader of Daiji Sect gets furious after listening to this and asks the master of Dragon Sect that it cannot be possible as Zhang Xiaofan grew up in Daiji Sect, so how come he would know how to forge such weapon? Suddenly, the king of the kingdom interrupts and tells that the weapon is very powerful, but he hasn't seen even a similar weapon in the hands of demons, hence they should not question Zhang Xiaofan. Both of them get spellbound after hearing this. Then, the king orders Zhang Xiaofan to participate in a mission along with other 3 winners of the competition, in which Zhang Xiaofan held 4th position, for which Zhang Xiaofan agrees. After this, Zhang Xiaofan gets out of the palace where other 3 winners, namely James, Seng, and Rosie, who are already waiting for him. Now, all of them leave for the mission. But before reaching there, all of them reach Hayang City, which is very crowded and had so many shops of different commodities. Then, they go in a restaurant where Seng orders food for all of them. Zhang Xiaofan asks him if he had ever visited this place before, as Seng knows all of the menu items by heart. On this, Seng replies that he often visits here as the food is of best quality. After this, the waiter brings food for all of them, and Zhang Xiaofan literally gobbles the food as he finds the taste of the food very delicious. Then the waiter brings the famous fish food for all of them and they like it very much. Waiter tells Zhang Xiaofan that the soup is made out of fresh fish, on which one girl contradicts, whose name is Biao, on the ground that this variety of fish can only be found in Zhugo Mountain, which takes up to 15 days to bring the fish here. Hearing this, the waiter replies that some of the practitioners have started rearing the fish in a nearby lake, which have been brought from the Zhugo Mountain. That's why the fish is fresh. Suddenly, Biao's aunt calls her. After that, all 4 of them goes to a hotel to spend the night, where Rosie asks Zhang Xiaofan what happened to him when they were in a fight. On which, Zhang Xiaofan says he doesn't know as he went unconscious in the middle of the fight. After hearing this, Rosie leaves the place and Zhang Xiaofan also goes to bed. But when he is sleeping, he gets a dream where his evil form is about to kill him. This dream awakens the Zhang Xiaofan and he starts pacing outside the room, where Biao also comes and pluck a flower for him. But Zhang Xiaofan doesn't like it, as he thinks flowers also have life. This makes Biao laugh out loud, and then she asks Zhang Xiaofan's name. But he doesn't want to answer this because of her laugh. After some efforts, Zhang Xiaofan answers this and tells his name. Then Biao asks if she is more beautiful than the flower, on which Zhang Xiaofan agrees. But Biao thinks Zhang Xiaofan is just like other men who tries to woo girls with their talk. This makes Zhang Xiaofan very angry, so he leaves the place. Suddenly, Biao's aunt calls her and informs that all 4 of them belong to Qingyunmen Kingdom. Biao tells her that she knows name of one person, which is Zhang Xiaofan. Then she shows the flower in hand to her aunt and asks if the flower is beautiful, on which the aunt answers that same flowers used to grow on the Mount Haoqi when her mother was alive. But after her demise, Biao's father destroyed the garden. This really annoys Biao, but her aunt pacifies her and tells her that she should have some respect as her father is a master of the sect. But Biao blames him for her mother's death. Now, Biao asks Aunt to leave her alone for some time, on which Aunt warns her that she need to be very careful for the upcoming journey to Kongsang Mountain, which is very dangerous. Next day, we see 4 of them, who are also going to Kongsang Mountain to kill demons. But on that way, they get attacked by blood-sucking bats. The bats can suck the entire blood out of a human's body. All of them starts fighting with the bats, which was very difficult as the number of bats was too much. Suddenly, they hear a voice which guides them to use light that can scare bats. So James makes shield out of the hexagonal mirror, which he had won in the all-sect competition. After that, people of Tianyan Temple and Fengsang Valley came to aid them. After this, they start going through a cave, where again they get attacked multiple times. Fortunately, all of them defend themselves, but at the end, there is so much of fog due to which they can't see each other. Then, a demon attacks Zhang Xiaofan, but Zhang Xiaofan throw that demon far away. Suddenly, other demon allure the people of Fengsang Valley and make them follow him. Then the leader of the demons, Nyan, comes in the scene. James get astonished by his sight and asks him how come he is alive. But Nyan do not answer it and start attacking them. At that time, the other demon arrives and kicks Zhang Xiaofan far again, and Nyan build a wall of stones to separate him from other people. Then the third demon come to suck the blood of the Zhang Xiaofan, but Zhang Xiaofan stabs his stick in that demon and kills him. When the other demon comes, he gets shocked after seeing that Zhang Xiaofan used the blood-sucking method to kill that demon and inform Nyan. So, both of them takes the dead demon body and run away. Seeing this, they started chasing demons. After a while, they arrive in blood refining hall through that cave. Now, a wall of stones cover Rosie and Zhang Xiaofan, but Rosie breaks that wall with her power. Again, all of the demons comes there and attack them. The demon who had kicked the Xiaofan again attacks him, but Xiaofan was easily handling him, as Xiaofan's stick absorbed the previous demon power and made him more powerful. Now, the demons create fog around them, so they can't see each other. Then, the Nyan comes there to attack Xiaofan, and Roshi also comes to help Xiaofan. Suddenly, Hunter Demon comes and gets Roshi. Xiaofan really gets angry with this, and Roshi asks Xiaofan to kill those demons. So, the Xiaofan released Roshi. But, suddenly, Nyan starts a demon magic called Scarlet Eye, because of which Roshi's sword gets a curse. Now, the Nyan's eyes start attacking Roshi, but the Xiaofan defends her, and use his stick to absorb the demon magic, which shocks Nyan. After this, Nyan throws Xiaofan in the ditch. So, the Roshi also takes the hand of the Xiaofan and both of them falls in the ditch. In the meantime, Roshi creates a shield around him. Here, Nyan put curse on others' weapons too, so that they can't use them. Suddenly, one of the servants of Nyan comes to inform him that his treasure site has been destroyed. Immediately, the James uses his hexagonal mirror to break the curse and they all attack Nyan. But Nyan leaves for the treasure site. So, the rest of them start looking for the Roshi and Xiaofan. In the other scene, Roshi sees Xiaofan is very much injured, and suddenly, demon skulls attack him. Roshi creates a shield to protect Xiaofan, but her own spiritual power starts fading away. Suddenly, Xiaofan ward absorbs the demon skulls, which makes Roshi shocks. Now, a nearby demon tree starts attacking them with his tentacles. Both of them had to fight that tree, otherwise they would have been killed. But Roshi can't fight that tree for long as her energy is very low. So, the tree tries to eat both of them. Seeing this, Roshi tries to regain the consciousness of the Xiaofan. Xiaofan again activates his stick and releases themselves and cut the tentacles of the demon tree. Then he hit the eyes of the tree and kill him. After that, Xiaofan tries to heal Roshi, but he is himself very weak. Suddenly, Biao and her aunt comes there and tell them that they have also came there to collect Blood Cave Drop, which really confused the Xiaofan, as he was not aware of any Blood Cave Drop. But Biao's aunt thinks Xiaofan is just denying the fact and she tries to attack him as well. But suddenly a giant snake comes there. Biao wants to attack him, but the aunt denies her. Suddenly, Roshi falls on a rock and make a voice due to which the giant snake attack on them. But Xiaofan gets in front of the snake and tries to fight. But Biao comes in forefront and tells him that he has made Snake angry and now he will kill them. After this, Roshi and Biao tries to kill the snake, but he kick them and throw them far away. It makes Roshi faint. So, Xiaofan starts fighting with that snake with Biao. After a long fight, it comes to no end. Then Biao sees a cave where they can take rescue. When both of them were running towards the cave, the snake attacks on Biao, but Xiaofan saves her. But sadly, the entrance of the cave also get blocked and both of them were stuck in that cave. Then the Biao tells him that he didn't need to be act so strong, as if she wasn't there he wouldn't have been alive. Hearing this, Xiaofan tells he didn't need to save that demon as he can save himself. It makes Biao very angry. Xiaofan tells her that the moment she attacked he realized she was also a witch. Biao tells her if he thinks then she would also see. How come he gets out of this cave without her help? In the same time, Roshi wakes up and her other friend also arrives there. So, Roshi narrate all of the incident to them. So, they start looking for Xiaofan. Here, Xiaofan starts looking for a way out but to no avail. Then he asks Biao that how come that demons find the way out, as there is nothing here except various bloodstones and blood fall. Hearing this, Biao asks him to take to the place where he sees bloodstones. When they reaches there, it really makes Biao shocked, but suddenly, she touch a stone and they fall in another cave where they sees a new skeleton. Biao tells this was the skeleton of the Xian who made the entire world shake 800 years ago. Then Biao touches it and the blood, which is poison, gets on her finger, but luckily, she takes that out. And then she tells Xiaofan that Xian was the master of blood refining hall and he made his sect very powerful with the help of Blood Pearl. He used to keep his treasure in this cave. Suddenly, she sees Xiaofan who went unconscious because he caught fever. Then Biao uses her wet handkerchief to aid Xiaofan, but to no aid. Suddenly, Xiaofan starts murmuring in his dreams to save his parents from demons. Hearing this, Biao realizes that Xiaofan also lost his parents, and it makes her emotional, so she hugs Xiaofan. It has been 3 days now, and the other people ask Roshi to go back again to get help to find Xiaofan, but she denies as she didn't want to leave Xiaofan alone because he helped her in all of the adverse situations. After some days, Xiaofan regains his consciousness and sees Biao sleeping by his side. He realizes Biao has fed him all of her food. Suddenly, the head of Xian falls and Xiaofan tries to keep it back again, and because of this one door opens, which make them realize that this was set by Xian alone. When they pass through that door, they sees an incomplete writing and sees 2 statues. Biao thinks that these statues were of Qingyunmen and goddess. Biao starts praying in front of that statues because those statues are the ancestors of demons. Meanwhile, Xiaofan starts looking at his surroundings and sees a poem which is hard to decipher. Then he realizes Biao is trying to find the treasure of Xian but is not able to do so. Then, Biao opens a door out of which a black smoke starts attacking Biao. Biao and Xiaofan defeats that smoke and realizes Xian had protected 2 bells by that smoke. Firstly, Biao doesn't understand why would Xian do so. But then she realizes that they must be bells of Madame Jinling, who was the founder of Qingyunmen sect, and she was a very intelligent lady. The bells were so powerful that they could take out soul of a person. Then she wonders what were bells doing in blood refining hall. Suddenly, she starts laughing and tells Xiaofan that Jinling and Xian must have been a couple in past times. Xiaofan wonders why would she laugh. Then she tells him that at one point of time Qingyunmen sect and blood refining hall were blood enemies, and the love story of Xian and Jinling is quite fascinating. Then she tells him that she has read that a book in which Xian has written that Jinling has left him, but it appears to be otherwise, as Xian was cold-blooded person. But Xiaofan doesn't believe so and says if Xian was feelingless, he would have not saved the bells of her and wrote poems. Then he touches the walls and suddenly a spiritual hand appears in front of them and attacks him. But Xiaofan absorbed the energy with the help of the stick. Then suddenly the poem is replaced by some phrases. Biao says these were the phrases of the demon book from which they learned skills. But Xiaofan has read them in the Buddhist books, which makes him wonder how they were same as demons who do evil deed. On the other hand, Rosie had returned to the sect, but still she was restless. Here, Biao comes to Xiaofan as both of them were very weak and starving. She asks Xiaofan to kill her and feed on her meat. Then she starts killing herself and Xiaofan make a cut on her to make her realize death. Now, she tells him that when she was a child her mother brought her to meet her grandmother. But the people of Tianyin broke that cave, due to which the rocks fell on them, and it made her grandmother lost her life. Then she was stuck in the cave and they were sure that her father would come to save them. After so many days when they got starved, her mother started taking her own meat and made Biao feed. But she made it look like as if she was hunting the food. It made her mother very weak. After some days when her father saw her grandmother and her mother, it made him very angry as he would kill her. Xiaofan pacifies her and then Biao starts praying her gods as she lost all of her hopes to get out of the cave. But Xiaofan wants to stop her, and in that attempt both of their hands get a cut and their blood falls on the ground. In the moment, the symbols on the ground starts glowing and they see a space where they can fit the bells. When they put the bells in, the walls open from where they can get out. Next day, they hunt an animal and starts feeding on it. After that, Biao starts thinking about Xiaofan and falls in love with him. Next day, the Xiaofan is also lost in some thoughts and Biao goes near him. Xiaofan tells him that one day he would also like to do something for her, as she looked after her when he was not well in cave. Then Biao asks Xiaofan to go with her to her sect and follow the demon teachings. But Xiaofan denies her offer by saying he believes in righteousness and he can't do evil. This makes Biao angry as she believed that he was accusing demons to be evil when in fact his own sect is very evil, who caused death of many women and children in past. Then both of them start accusing each other and believes both of them were unaware of the truth as they followed what their master had told them. And Biao leaves the place. Meanwhile, Rosie can't get Xiaofan out of his mind, which was affecting her training. Here, Xiaofan leaves the place after Biao and goes to a tea stall and start taking tea, where a person asks if he was from the Qingyunmen sect, which makes Xiaofan shock. The man replies Qingyun is near their place and he looks very trained student. Then he offers him tea and tells his name, and the man also tells his name, which is Renwang. Then Renwang tells him although he is a common man, he has still read many books, and he knows that Xiaofan's weapon is very amazing, which is made out of 2 treasures, which is believed to be made of the blood pearl of the Xian, and it has absorbed Xiaofan's blood. He also informs him that the weapon is made of 9 souls and can destroy the soul of a person. It also has the power to control the anger of its bearer. Now Xiaofan realizes why his master thought his powers were demonic and it was a dark weapon. Then Renwang tells him that his sect has killed many people with the help of a secret treasure, and by any means they are innocent, who has killed many people, which make them worse than demons. Then Xiaofan says demons are worse who killed humans. Then Renwang tells him that a lion feeds on a rabbit who further feeds on grass. How come we blame the lion as he doesn't have any other means to live? By this talk Xiaofan realized Renwang is also a demon who is trying to brainwash him. He gets very angry, but Renwang leaves. Now, Xiaofan realizes he will use his weapon for welfare only. In the next scene, Renwang orders his servant to keep a close watch on the activities of Xiaofan as he wanted to include him in his sect. Then he went to Biao and asks her to go back with him. But she denies cause she no longer wanted to go back and tells him she doesn't have any family anymore, as he has destroyed every memory of his mother and she no longer considers him as his father. Even he has destroyed the favorite flowers of her mother. But Renwing shows one flower of that garden and tells her he always keeps on flower with himself. He only destroyed those garden because he didn't want her to feel sad. It softened Biao and she gets ready to go back in sect. Then, he tells her that he met Xiaofan as he want him to be in his sect. Then Biao tells if he can bring him in the sect. Hearing this, Renwing says the power of the weapon will make his thirst for blood and his anger out of control, which will make him obliged to join sect. On the other hand, Xiaofan comes in city where he sees no one. Then he reads a notice which mentions that a fox demon has entered the city and people need to live inside the house. Then he sees an old man sitting besides who asks if he is from Qingyunmen sect. On asking, Xiaofan asks how come he knows. Then the little girl answers anyone could predict by his attire. Then the old man tells he could see future and past. And Xiaofan had to go through horrible things in the past and he must prepare for the worst in the future. He tells Xiaofan that he could tell the solution of the problem if he could pay him 10 coins. But Xiaofan only had 4 coins at the moment. The old man keep those coins. Then suddenly, another man comes there who claimed that he could kill that fox demon if the village men feeds him. On which, they agrees. The old man tries to trick that man too, but he was too cunning for that. Then, he asks if Xiaofan would like to join him in order to kill that demon. Hearing this, Xiaofan agrees, so both of them goes for that. At the end, the little girl asks the old man why wouldn't he stop Xiaofan. As it is very dangerous, the old man replies Xiaofan would get whatever is written in his fate. And the part ends here.